how did you learn the conventions of grammar mechanics and usage so that you at least knew to do those things? So, as an educator, we would want to be able to do that with children. But the caution that we have is, do we want to lose content? Do we want to focus on those mechanics?
That's a good question. Let me put a caveat out there. Grammar and spelling are overrated. In my experience, they're kind of a good party trick. We put much too emphasis on evaluating them and not evaluating ideas. The person who wins the Nobel Prize for Literature is not the best grammarian. They're the person who has the most interesting ideas. So I think that's a precursor to everything I'm about to say. Now, it is valuable to learn something about grammar and how to use it. I learned it in two different ways. One, a ton of time from teachers, my mom when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was so shamed about my dyslexia that I didn't want anyone to know about it. And initially, it started out not in shame, just in functionality. I needed to sit with my mother and have her read something out loud to me. From the age of, whenever I started writing, composing things, maybe 7 or 8 years old, all the way through college, every single word I read and wrote went through my mother. I would sit next to her, and she would read aloud what I'd written. I would type it on. Actually, I would type it myself, so I would produce on my own. And she would read it out loud to me, would make corrections. And I have to say, it in many ways created a real challenge for our relationship. Because I would get angry when she was spotting mistakes in my stuff. I'd be frustrated. And it warped our interpersonal dynamic for a while until we kind of worked that out. The key thing was that she's a book editor, so she was very good at knowing the rules. So I watched her and I learned the rules from an expert. I don't think it's that different. I don't think, and this is interesting, experts may disagree, I don't think there's anything endemic to the dyslexic profile that says grammar is hard to learn. I think the rules are not hard to learn. That's a function of your capacity to learn rule-based systems, and that varies across the population. Matching symbols to those rules, that's definitely a dyslexic trait. So you can tell me how to crack a mathematical code, but then if you ask me to write out the symbols, I'm going to screw it up. And those are two different skill sets, right? So I would say it's time and attention to teach, but to teach it in a way that is accessible and non-shaming. And I would start all education on grammar with, look, this is useful in certain contexts. If you can't do it, that means it's not really for you, don't worry about it. But we're going to spend some time on it, and now we're going to move on to some thinking. Like, you don't just do grammar all day, every day, forever.